And we're in.
Yay! Woohoo!
Is everybody here?
Yes.
All right, everybody, pile in because we have got a great show for you tonight. This is Jay Grossman. I'm the founder and CEO of AutoAuthorities. And this is Mr.
David Marks with Quality Auto STL, home of trusted surprises or trusted services with no surprises.
You got to get that one right. We have a huge treat today. We are going to pick the brain of a 22-year veteran technician. He's going to share all the ins and outs that you ever would need to find an honest repair shop. And I'll tell you this, we've talked a lot about how to find an honest car dealer and a mechanic. Now we got the mechanic. And boy, do we have the best in the business right here, everybody. So hold on to your seats. We're coming back with how to find an honest repair shop. Have you ever felt like you were taken for a ride when buying, selling, or repairing your car? Well, not anymore. I'm Jay.
And I'm Dave.
And this is the podcast that tells you what to watch out for, whether you're buying, selling,
or repairing your car.
With 47 years of automotive experience, we are the Automotive Authorities. This podcast is sponsored by AutoAuthorities. We're real estate agents for cars.
And Quality Auto STL, trusted services with no surprises.
All right. Welcome, everybody, to the AutoAuthorities Podcast.
Yes.
I'm Jay.
And I'm Dave.
And we have I'm really excited about this show because you know why? Because we have not talked a lot about repairing the car, but let's face it, cars actually break. Isn't that something?
All the time. Every day.
Isn't that amazing? Cars actually break. I don't care what car you have, it's going to break.
And it don't matter how old it is or how many miles. I got dealership experience behind me. We fixed all kinds of stuff under warranty.
Absolutely. Before we begin, I wanted to thank Techie Tony of Techie Tony Media. He has just done an amazing job. We have just an amazing following of people, don't we, Dave?
Absolutely.
We're getting people from all over the country sending us messages. And I want you to really be thinking while you're watching this episode, what kind of questions do you have about buying, selling, and repairing cars? Those burning questions that you don't want to hop on the internet and hear a bunch of malarkey that isn't true or sift through a lot of stuff that isn't true. You want to hear it from us? We'll tell you raw and uncut. We obviously are very opinionated.
Yes.
A little bit. At least I am. But, let's just hop into this. Dave, what is the very first step, in your opinion, that somebody should do when they're looking for an honest repair shop? And obviously, let me just phrase it like this. Sometimes people don't have a lot of time because people are not being proactive. They wait for something bad to happen to their car before they call the repair shop, don't they?
Yeah, nobody wakes up and go, I'm going to go see David, have my water pump replaced today.
What should they do? What's the first thing? Let's start with number one.
I think you just, ask friends and family, who do you use for this stuff? It's no different than if somebody is buying a car, ask, hey, where'd you buy your car from? How was the experience? Where do you get your car repair on? How was the experience? Trusted friends and family. My best customers come from referrals.
Well, I think that's very well said. And what I don't think a lot of people realize is how important it is in your life to have trusted advisors in every single category. Absolutely. Whether it be an attorney, whether it be a CPA, whether it be a real estate agent, whether it be your insurance agent, whether it be your mechanic.
That's right. No, I think that's a very good point. I'm good friends with, I have two insurance agents I work with, one for the business and another one for the home and auto. And yeah, I'd highly depend on them. That's extremely important in today's world.
Absolutely. When you have trusted advisors in your life is less stressful because you can pick up the phone and you can call them. Now, Dave, if I were to call you and I said, Dave, my car's making a funny noise, What are you going to do? You going to tell me to back it up to the phone?
Yeah, put the phone up to it. Let me take a look at it. No, what we do over here, and what I found is best, is when anybody calls up for they got a noise or a vibration, we go on a test drive with them. It's extremely important for either of those two scenarios that we go on a test drive with the customer, that we experience exactly what we experienced. So then we know what we're up against. What is their main concern? Why are they bringing the car in? Do we hear, are they concerned about this noise, but they could care less about the other one? So, that's step one.
So when they bring it in, you're going on a test drive with them because they're like, oh, I hear this little noise and it happens when I go over a bump. Well, you don't go taking the car on smooth roads on test drives. You go taking over bumps and you try to hear what they're hearing.
Yeah, we want to experience exactly what they're experiencing. That way we know what they want us to fix. What is their main concern with it?
I think that you brought up such a great point, Dave, because I have been to mechanics before, mostly dealerships. And when I go to the dealer, I pull the thing up and they're like, oh yeah, we'll have our guy drive it. They don't say, well, can I hop in the car with you? It is my car.
I want to drive. And then I tell Mr. Consumer, when you feel the vibration or hear the noise, let me know. I think it eliminates everything. It eliminates so much hassle and headache. And I learned this from experience because I got burned by the same thing. I fixed noises, and that's not the noise they want fixed. And I was like, oh.
Right. So, Dave, when I'm looking for a mechanic, you said you talk to people that obviously that would be the easy way. But what if someone doesn't know somebody? What if they're new to the state? What if they're new to the city? What's the first thing that they should do?
I think you'll go back to Facebook and Google reviews. And, for me, if somebody's looking at reviews, and we'll say, well, Bobby, left me a review on Google. Did Bobby also leave one on Facebook? That's a great way to look to say like, hey, because a lot of people will pay for reviews. I could pay for 1,000 Google reviews today. I don't do that, obviously, but that's kind of a way to legitimize a shop or any business for that matter, that they're not paying for reviews.
It's very well said. It's scary out there, but I think that if you just do your research and you start looking through those reviews and you see Bobby has left a review for 15 other mechanics out there, Bobby was probably hired from somebody in another,
Guido hired Bobby.
Guido hired Bobby. Bobby's dad is working for the whole thing, and Guido and Bobby have this thing. But
yeah, what if you're right? Because on Google you can see what are the reviews people have listed a place at, and you can. I'm assuming you can do the same thing on Facebook. I don't know, but I think it's a way just to checks and balances.
What if something was called Honest Abe's Mechanic Shop? Should somebody go there?
Well, okay. I don't think so.
Enough of my corniness, right?
I know. I'm just gonna stick my foot in my mouth and shut up.
Well, okay. So let's say somebody comes to your shop. What's the difference between a dealership and an independent type of operation?
I think it's the personability that people get with independents. I think you can't get the same thing at a dealership, but it's if has that service manager been there for 20 years? Have his advisors been there for 20 years, or is that dealership consistently rotating through management and personnel? If you got a great team of advisors and the service manager's been there, they've all been there for 15, 20 years, then that's probably a great place. It's probably no different than bringing it here. You're going to get that good, honest service. But if they're just consistently rotating through people, well, there's a reason.
Well, and it all starts with the reviews, right? So if you're seeing consistent reviews, a pattern of reviews, this guy does a good job, this guy does a good job, this person does a good job, this person does a good job, well, chances are you're probably going to have a good experience 9 times out, right?
Yeah. And I've had people tell me that they like that there's just some bad ones on there. Then they know, because nobody's going to please everybody, and they'll and then too, if there's a bad review, how did the shop owner or the business respond to it? Did they respond in an empathetic way, or did they not respond at all, or were they pretty rude, or did they get defensive in that response to the negative review? I think those are just, and then, I had somebody see if anybody has from out of town has left a review. I think for my business, out of town reviews are worth their weight in gold. I actually had somebody, I got them in from out of town, and I'm just going to be, this is what I did is I wanted that out of town review on Google and Facebook. Because if the place is going to take care of out of towners that they're never going to see again, well, then they're going to treat somebody that's in the neighborhood.
Right. What are the other things that could be potential red flags? Like if somebody walked up to the counter and they're talking to the person, what are some of the things that you should be looking for in a service manner, would you say?
On the service manager, well, that's just that they give them the time of day that when that customer walks up, that is the most important thing in the world.
Right.
They're not trying to multitask. They're not trying to have another conversation with another advisor or the technician, that they're 100% focused on that customer and that customer only. The phone rings, they pick up the phone. Hey, well, hold on a second. I'll be right back. I think that's acceptable, but they're not trying to do 5 things at one time.
Right.
You're number one.
Take me through your process of what you do when somebody comes to the shop. You've talked to them on the phone. They're at the shop. What's the first thing that you do? Because this is going to be the best practice, everybody. Whatever Mr. Dave says, this is the best practice.
Well, okay. Is it a new customer, Jay, or is it a pre-existing?
It's a new customer.
A new customer. New?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I say literally we're no different than doctors, as I have a new customer welcome sheet that I have them fill out. It gives me the name, address, phone number, all their contact info, how they found us.
Yep.
Because we want to know that. How did you find us? And then, we enter all their information in, and then based on what they're there, like if for example, like you brought up hey, I got a noise while I'm driving. Well, then we go on that test drive together, then we do a preliminary inspection.
Yep.
That's our diagnosis at no charge. And then once we get an idea of what area of the car we need to either test or inspect, then we can let the customer know this is what this cost, and we just keep people in a loop. It's constant communication, and then there's no surprises for the customer.
I'm gonna throw you a curveball here.
Okay,
and this
bring
is
it.
that just really sticks in my mind. What about insurance? What should people be looking for in insurance? Like if somebody has it, like say a shop, and what happens if their car falls off the rack?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I have all kinds of coverage. It would take an insurance agent to really know that. As a consumer, you should assume that they have that.
I think what I'm getting at is that you pay for what you get. And if you go to Bobby's uncle that works outside the back of his house and something happens to your car, you just got to be careful. Like that's the second biggest asset that you own.
Yeah. I got one. Here's a perfect example. I got a lady that she had her husband wanted to bring the car here, but she wanted to do it on her own. She had the backyard mechanic do a tune-up on it, and it didn't fix nothing. So, now it's here. We see that constantly. And the first thing I'm going to go do is, did they put the right spark plugs in the car? He may put the wrong plugs in the car. You'd be surprised how many people put something simple as that. It happens, and it's unfortunate, but we do see those a few times a year.
Dave, I want you to explain to everybody, because this is something that I've seen through many, many years of doing this, that ASE that is on the door or on your window, and the warranty companies, like when you get a warranty, they'll only deal with ASE certified technicians. Can you explain to people what that is, to our listening audience?
Sure. ASE stands for Automotive Service Excellence. So it started in the mid 70s. It was a way so the public felt comfortable who's servicing their car. And ASE is completely voluntary. It's not mandated. There's no law. There's no mechanics license like there's for plumbers and electricians and HVAC guys. It's completely 100%. I've got my master's. I'm a certified parts consultant, service advisor, and I got 5 different ASE plaques up there for different categories. But yeah, to me when the technicians or the shops has all those, that means they're dedicated to their business, because we have to recertify those every 5 years. It's not like it's one and done. Every 5 years, they're up for renewal. So if they're all current, that means that they're dedicated to the industry, they're dedicated to their job, the business. That's a pretty good sign that they're legit. Because if they don't have those, well, how much do they care about what they do for a living?
So what's entailed? Does a technician have to be ASE certified, or is it the facility, or
it's a technician? It's a technician. There's no ASE for the shop. It's strictly for technicians and service advisors and parts. I have, there's a generic one for parts that I have. There's one for a service advisor, and there's different specialty tests that I'm certified in through ASE. And then I have my general master's certification.
Wow, that sounds pretty important.
Yeah, every year I take 2 or 3 tests because I got to recertify.
I think that goes a long way. I mean, it's just like a real estate agent. You know, real estate agents have to continue to take tests and keep their certification and their license. It's the same type of thing. Is either you're dedicated to your position or you're not. You know.
Yeah, and I think it's a good sign. You know, if they're hanging on the wall, are they current, or are half of them expired?
Right. When just out of curiosity, so when you bring a vehicle in, do you ever show them the part to show them like what?
Yeah, we ask that. I'll ask that question to people because
if they want to see it.
Some people care, some people don't. Some people, I don't need it to just tell me what it's going to cost. I don't need to know all the details. And and especially with newcomers, I'll ask a question like, "Hey, do you want to see the parts? Do you want me to go through the whole thing, or what do you want?" And then I give them what they ask for instead of me just assuming. Some people don't want to hear all the details. They could care less. What's it going to cost me? That's all I want to know.
Gotcha. So when it comes to cost, like how do you deal with that? As far as, do you know what the cost is before they come in, and should they know the cost before you start working on it?
They should definitely know the cost before we should start working on it.
Yep.
I mean, we don't really. It's impossible to know what the cost is until we've tested and inspected and when identified. Okay, this is the solution. This is what part it needs. This is how long this part should be to install, and then we can give the customer, a rent estimate, an itemized rent estimate.
Yep.
And then we can present that to them.
That's cool. And then you put everything in writing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. There's always a story to every car. So the 3 things that I think are key. It's always the concern, the cause, and the correction. So that way, 6 months from now, this is why we did this, because I'm not going to remember.
No, they don't remember. So let's talk a little bit about warranties. What should they look for? Let's say you do a repair on a car. What is the warranty? Is it a standard warranty? Our standard is 24 months, 24,000 miles. That's parts and labor. Wow.
I'm part of Factory Motor Parts, their preferred partners network, so we can actually offer that nationwide.
Okay.
I mean, there's some things we just can't do. I mean, we do put in used parts. So if we put on used part, it's it's as is. But for most repairs, it's 24 months, 24,000 miles. If we're putting on a sensor or, and some parts have lifetime warranties, and that's provided from the manufacturer. There's a lot of most radiator and AC condenser manufacturers are lifetime. A lot of chassis parts are lifetime, and that's for the manufacturer. So, I mean, if it's a lifetime part, and I've even did this. I had a lady here, she put on I knew that it's Moog. Moog is they're actually founded here in St. Louis about 100 years ago. Living in business, but they're a lifetime warranty. So she had a Moog product on that I could tell, and it was defective. Well, I got my supplier, even though we didn't get it from them, to help this lady out, warranted out, so she didn't have to pay the parts; she just had to pay labor.
Wow. So that is definitely something that people really should know, is what is the warranty? Because here, most new cars, let's just use domestic cars, or a 3 or 36,000 mile warranty. You're basically almost getting a new car warranty for that part.
Yeah, for that repair. There's a lot of parts that are lifetime, and then
that's amazing.
But I mean, and I think too, with the shops, what kind of parts do they use? I have a parts background, so a lot of the manufacturers that make parts for the assembly line also sell through independent distributors, and we can buy those, and you're getting the same thing it was built with, but you're not paying the buying it from the dealership.
Right. What other things should people be looking for other than, obviously the warranty, the parts? What are some of the other things that you just think that are, let's just say, what could be a potential red flag for somebody if they walked in to the shop and, what would be number one red flag for you? Just off your cuff.
Well, the two, I don't know if there's one thing that I can say is like a big red flag, but the two, since I've been in business, the two biggest complaints I got from people is I call it the list. You take your car into the dealerships, and the chain stores are all famous for this. It doesn't matter what it's for. They want to upsell you the list. It's 8 to 10 things that cost $600, $800, $1,000, whatever. And they didn't get, but they never ask you, hey, would you like us to look at your car? No, they just assume that you okay them to nitpick the car and try to upsell everything under the sun. We don't do that here. I get permission. Do you want me? I ask everybody that's due. Do you want us? We have these inspections that are above and beyond with the cars here. Would you like us to do those? If they say no, then we don't do it. If they say we did, then we do it. That's the difference. And the list is a scare tactic. Well, it's just, the customer doesn't know. Do I really need these? I didn't ask for this. My front brakes are making noise. Why are you telling me I need rear shocks? I'm gonna tell you a story because I love stories. So when I used to work in the dealership world, I will not name the dealer, but it is a very, very large dealer that sells. Well, I gotta say that they sell higher end cars. Let's just say that. Okay. And I'll never forget when I'd walk through the service department, there'll be like 5 waiting rooms, fireplaces. They offered free massages, wow. Cafe. All the thing. And I always would watch the service advisor sitting down with the person, like they're their friend, and they're going over the list. Like you made me think of that, the list. And they're like, okay, well, we found 75 things wrong with your car. So my wife, when we had I'll have to say I won't say the name of the dealer, but it was a Lexus that we were driving. And we went there, and I'll never forget, I was at work, and my wife called me. She goes, this car is falling apart. I have $5,000 worth of things I need to fix. And they have all these little red marks all over our car. And yeah. I'm like, wait, what? We just came in for an oil change. That's what they do. They said that the brakes are going bad and the steering rack's going out and it's this and it's that. And I'm like, okay. All the fluids. It always includes the fluids. Yeah. And then you got, it totally pissed me off. And so I got on the phone with the service advisor. I said, okay, let's talk about this here. What do I really need to do? Oh, well, the brakes could probably go a little bit longer. Your steering rack's fine. Okay, what the hell are you scaring my wife for? Yeah. I mean, it's that list. I think that you just hit on something, Dave, that is very, very important. And I also, I'm gonna share something too, and I'm not gonna say any names, but there are places that start with a D and end with an S, and they also start with an F and end with an E. And what they do is they hire people as salespeople to run the desk. And you think that they're your friend, and they're not your friend. They're there to upsell you on certain things. So is there anything that people can do, like when they see the list, what should they say to them? I think get a second opinion. Instantly get a second opinion. And, the good shops will ask the customer up front before we even pull a car in, would you like us to do this inspection? And if they say no, I just noted that they declined it. That way, for future reference. Right. And because people don't like being sold the list. Well, I'm going to tell you another story.
There was a dealership here in St. Louis that sold BMW that started with a P and ended with an A. And I'm not going to say the name of it, but so this other mechanic that I know, he's really awesome. So one of our clients actually was told that they needed to put a transmission in this BMW.
Wow.
That's to the tune of, it was like over $8,000.
$24,000.
Yes.
Yep.
And so he looked at it and it needed like a $200 part. He about flipped out. He went over to this dealership that started with a P and ended with an A. And oh my goodness, he lit them up in the middle of the whole place saying, you guys are crooks. They totally tried to take advantage of her. And, Dave, to kind of end, we've talked about a lot, but let's talk about, women and how they're treated. And it's just terrible. Like, I know how my wife was treated.
Oh, it's obviously, and women are the best referral sources. Those are the ones you want to treat like gold. I do.
Why wouldn't you? Like, I mean, you should treat everybody like gold, but I mean, my wife is my boss. I might be the CEO of iAutoAgent, but I am not the CEO of my household. I will tell you that right now. And I'll be the first to admit it. And any guy that doesn't admit it, they're completely lying to themselves. And when my wife is unhappy, I am unhappy.
Yeah, no, that ain't no. I get it. No, and I don't understand why they prey on these women. I think if they want to try to sell you the list and you didn't ask for it, say, thanks. Let me take that with me and just leave. Go run away.
So if everybody is listening,
here's another good thing.
These are
golden nugget for you.
Go ahead.
So when they come out and they want to say, because here, like if you're at the dealership, for example, you need an air filter, right? And they bring out that dirty one.
Yeah.
Ask them, bring out what a new one looks like too. Make sure it looks the same, and just haven't used the same dirty air filter on everybody.
Oh, golden nugget, another golden nugget,
or the cabin air filter. I mean, I want to see what the new one looks like. Do they look exactly the same?
Ooh, we are really on to hot. So if anybody's been listening this long, man, they're getting some good information. Now, here's the other thing, is that Dave used the term the list. When you start seeing the list, be careful, because it might just be a list.
Yeah, that's it. Because the more you spend, the more they make. That's right. Simple. Especially at the two places that you named it.
And you know what here? I don't think profit's a bad word. I just think unfair is. I live by that every single day. I run my company like that. I don't think profit's a bad word. I think unfair is. And when I feel something is unfair, that is when I shut off and you lose all trust with me.
Yep.
So ending on that, I want to make sure that everybody that's listening, we have gotten numerous messages from people of all different types of things that people want to hear. The next episode that we're going to have is going to be a question and answer session live on air. It can be about buying, selling, or repairing your car. What are those burning questions you have? It's not going to be one topic. It's going to be a lot of topics. And we are going to nail them raw and uncut. None of this stuff is edited. Not one bit of I do not believe in editing. You are hearing everything raw and uncut. This is not planned, nothing. So with that being said, go to this email. I'm going to read it to you right now. info@iautoagent.com. The name is info@I, like integrity, autoagent.com. We are going to bring this thing home. We have gotten so many people already. We want to read your question on the air. Tell us what you want to hear. If it's not this session, it may be the next session, but it's important because we don't know what we don't know. So we're all rearing and ready to go. Dave, you have anything else other than us thanking Mr. Techie Tony?
No, I don't. We could probably do another episode about this. Just like
oh my gosh, we could go on and on. But once again, thanking Techie Tony with Techie Tony Media. Remember this, everybody. When you see the list,
run.
Well,
it's maybe just a list.
It may just be a list.
I like that. I got to remember that one.
All right, everybody. I hope you had a good one. We'll see you on the next episode.
Absolutely.
Peace.